Guys, we have some bad news. Ethereum Testnet has failed to launch and they've had problems. So it will be delayed for at least 2 weeks. The testnet I'm talking about is WholeSky. And it's a tech misstep for the blockchain reported by CoinDesk and Cointelegraph, although many others are reporting on it too. Now, there was a misconfiguration in the Genesis files of the test network, and they're going to try in 2 weeks. So that probably puts all the Ethereum upgrades at least off by 2 weeks. Not really all that strange for Ethereum, honestly. They've had many delays, but obviously another mark, but I don't really think anyone's going to lose faith in Ethereum because of this. So basically, the Ethereum devs did not get their test network WholeSky started on Friday, marring a technological milestone that was supposed to serve as a celebration of the first anniversary of the last year's historic merge upgrade. But they missed it. Not a huge deal, but it does push things back a little bit. While some validators were manually able to start the test network, there was a misconfiguration, I guess someone's getting fired, in one of the Genesis files of the network according to the core developers, so they had to fix that. And of course, they decided to postpone the launch for about 2 weeks, and that would give them time to regroup. So on Twitter, this is what the developers actually said. And of course, this is from Parathosh, we had a misconfiguration in the Genesis file, and that led to the WholeSky network improperly launching. Some validators manually fixed the config and were able to start the chain, but not enough for the network to finalize, so they had to postpone. We're waiting on a decision, but it's extremely likely that we'll relaunch the network with new Genesis files and have the network up 2 weeks from now. Hopefully, the next launch will not have this misconfiguration, and we can go forth as much as possible. Once again, this is one of the many Ethereum delays. They've had a lot of delays when getting to the merge, and of course, post-merge, they've gotten a little bit better, but this is probably the start of one of many delays. So, we've identified the issue in Geth version 1.1 withdrawals from blocks. The issue was fixed on a master branch, also released. So basically, the thing is, it's not really that big of a deal. I think some people are making fun of it, but realistically, I do actually think this will be perfectly fine. It does delay things. I expect a lot more delays in Ethereum. Maybe not like this, but just a couple of problems that'll push things back more and more. And I don't really think the whole splurge thing or dank sharding thing is going to happen for a couple of years. I think they had it for 2 years. I'm going to be surprised if they can get it within 3 years. It might be 4 years or more. So that basically puts that out of contention for the next bull run. Transaction fees are going to cost a lot for that bull run, so you better be prepared for it. But anyways, just a small setback for Ethereum, not such a big deal, but probably one of many that we will actually see. Celebrities and influencers paid out big in the settlement for FTX promotion. And what this actually means is that many of the influencers and celebrities, NFL celebrities particularly, decided to settle instead of fight the lawsuit. Now, remember, this is a lawsuit from a year back, and Trevor Lawrence is one of them. So a trio of celebrities have settled lawsuits against them related to sponsorship deals struck with the failed crypto exchange FTX. Now, the real thing is they're giving real penalties, financial penalties out for shilling this FTX thing without disclosing that they were being paid. So if you're an influencer and you were just giving your opinion on FTX and you were not paid by them, you're not really in trouble. But if you were paid by FTX, shilled them, and did not disclose it, you might actually be in trouble. They settled a lawsuit and accused him of misleading investors in FTX for an undisclosed sum, so he had to tell investors, hey, I'm being paid. I actually do agree with this ruling. If you are being sponsored, you should have to tell people that you are actually being you are being sponsored and on what terms you're actually being sponsored. They didn't really tell how much they settled for, but it was probably for quite a bit of money. The thing is maybe not quite as much as he received from the company, maybe even more. Trevor Lawrence did actually receive $205,000 from the company, even if he had to pay 5 times as much, $1 million. Not much for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has a $300 million contract or something like that. Of course, Trevor Lawrence did have a sponsorship deal with Blockfolio before FTX collapsed. So at the time, FTX then COO said that sponsorships with Lawrence and other celebrities help ensure taboos around cryptocurrency were officially shattered. But obviously, because FTX was dishonorable and committed seppuku, that didn't actually happen. They just increased those taboos, and those bad taboos got caught with the celebrities as well. And now the celebrities are going to have to pay a pretty penny to get off that taboo. Of course, it wasn't only Trevor Lawrence, it was also a bunch of celebrity influencers like Nash, who also had 289,000 subscribers, was also paid FTX for an endorsement, according to a class action complaint filed against him and other influencers. After FTX collapsed, the complaint states Nash and other influencers scrubbed their channels of any content touting the company or its disgraced founder, Sam Bankman-Fried. I still think I have some of my FTX videos, but since I'm not paid by FTX, I don't really care all that much. I was just giving my opinion. They did look good for a while, but it was too good to be true. So the influencer did not initially respond to the lawsuit, prompting Moskowitz to request a federal judge to allow them to serve the lawsuit through a tweet. So basically, guys like Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin and stuff, they all promoted this. They all regret it now, but they're all being sued for a large sum of money. And they should have actually disclosed that they were actually being paid to tout FTX. If you are being paid to sponsor anything in crypto, you should definitely tout it now, so you don't get the situation where you owe people billions of dollars. So Ripple said they're willing to fight the SEC to the end. That's good news. I'm not really sure if it's great news for Ripple because the SEC did appeal. Now, if the SEC fails their special appeal, they might not go for the full appeal because the full appeal will take years to do. And I really think that their goal is to actually get it appealed before the Coinbase and other decisions come to light. Because if they don't get it repealed, they're probably going to lose the Coinbase lawsuit. And even if the judge agrees to their special appeal, it doesn't mean they win the appeal. So they might actually end up losing the lawsuit anyways. And the SEC has tacitly acknowledged that they're on the losing end of the stick right now. And they're basically going for almost a hopeless endeavor to get a special appeal. Now, many of the lawyers said they do not actually satisfy the conditions for a special appeal and that it should actually be rejected, which I definitely agree with. But Ripple's not really backing down in the fight. They have said they will appeal all the way up to the Supreme Court. Now, that would take several years, and that would be bad for the whole crypto industry, and it would be bad for XRP as well. But at least they have the money, and they're committed to fight. And obviously, like Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse have their own case and beef with the SEC. So the thing is, like, the SEC argued in the court filing that there's a lot of not illegal problems because Torres and some other judges don't agree. But that's not necessarily true. The other judges just said that the Terra Luna lawsuit was basically handled in a different way because Terra Luna was a completely different coin under completely different situations. So the FTX's argument there, the SEC's argument there is probably not going to fly all that much. So the rest of the crypto community will basically watch this as well. I don't think it'll actually get overturned, and I think the SEC is basically out of luck on this one in trying to get it overturned because judges are not going to look too friendly upon the SEC. They don't really like these kind of filings, and if the SEC gets this denied, I feel like a lot of those other lawsuits are going to cascade against the SEC. And it looks like September is really not going to be all that negative. We're at 26,700. It looks like we actually went up a little bit for the weekend. I had a little bit of a scare that we did dump down to like 26,400, only about 300 difference, but it does actually look like we're actually being pretty positive. I definitely think that announcement with the European Union saying they're going to stop rate hikes really helped. And everyone is waiting for next week when Jerome Powell will actually determine the fate of crypto by actually hiking or not hiking rates, at least for the next couple of months. My guess is he won't hike rates, but he might be kind of hawkish for November, which would actually cause a bit of a pullback. But if he's not too hawkish, we could go to 30,000 and above because I do actually think the momentum is upward. We're getting a little too close to the halving for us to dump massively all that much because we do need time to actually recover and we do need to be at a higher price than we are now once the halving actually comes. That's like a mathematical reason that I mentioned in a past video. But overall, like September may actually not be bearish as it was in the past. Remember, like we probably reached a bottom at the end of last year because even according to the 4-year cycle, usually we bottom about a year after we reach the top, and that was actually in December of last year. So now like we're kind of going up. We've gone up from 15,000 to 27,000. I think we'll probably stay around 27 to 30,000 for a while before commencing back up, probably early next year. Hopefully this gets some of the interest back in crypto because the interest in the searches have actually been lacking, and obviously people watching the channel have actually been lacking as well. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.